How are you, everybody? I hope you are fine. My name is Hugo Bustamante. I work for Global Studies, and today we will be talking about how to apply to universities. In general, Global Studies helps you to gives you advice about how to apply to universities abroad. We work with universities in the UK, in Europe in general, in USA, Canada, Australia, and different destinations. And you can see that we have our WhatsApp number and our email address in the screen. You can write down to us if you want to have an appointment with us. And today we will be talking about the University of Stirling. And we will be talking with Craig Evans. He is Assistant Director of Recruitment at the University of Stirling, and he will be talking about the different programs they have to they will offer us. And please, if you want to ask something about the presentation, if you have questions, do not hesitate to write your questions. We will be answering with Craig your questions after the presentation. And now let me introduce you, please, to Craig. He is working for 11 years with different universities in the UK, and now he's in Scotland advising students. Hi, Craig. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Okay, fine. Please, Craig, we would like to know more about the University of Stirling. Could you please tell us about their programs and all the processes?
Yeah, no problem. So would you like me to do the presentation or just like a short kind of speech?
Please, you can share your presentation. It would be fast to see.
No problem. Right, so I think I've managed to share my screen, but it's not showing up for some reason. Is there a way to get this? There we go. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, for having me on here. I hope that you find this presentation useful. So as Hugo was saying, my name is Craig. I've worked in the UK education sector for approximately 11 years now. And I've worked all over the UK. So I started at Staffordshire, I moved to UEA in Norwich, I lived in Birmingham, I moved to Surrey, and then I moved up to Scotland. And for me, Scotland has been the favourite place that I've actually lived of all of those, to the extent where last summer I actually had the opportunity to move to places like Dubai, London, Dublin, but I actually chose to stay in Scotland because I really enjoy it that much. So this presentation is going to be a kind of brief overview of Stirling, a little bit about Scotland as well, to help you kind of find out a little bit more about what it is we have to offer. So welcome to Scotland. That's the kind of introduction to the presentation. And one of the things you'll find about Scotland is that it is one of the most welcoming countries anywhere in the world. So when you come to Stirling, as we'll explain later on in the presentation, you are based in the centre of Scotland, so you're very, very close to all of the cities and all of the towns within the country. So it gives you a great chance to explore not just Stirling, but the whole country. And I always say to people, when you come to Stirling, it's not just a kind of learning experience, it's a whole lifestyle that you're living. So I always like to tell people a little bit about Scotland to begin with, because you might not know this, but you actually engage with Scottish history and Scottish culture every single day. So for instance, if you've ever turned on a television, you have engaged with Scottish history. Likewise, if you've ever used a mobile phone, again, you've engaged with Scottish history. If you've ever ridden a bicycle, if you've ever used a refrigerator, ever had to use things like penicillin or painkillers, ever used a self-sealing envelope in an office type scenario, if you've ever taken a colour photograph, if you've ever played golf, ice hockey, ever watched international football, had surgery, been on an aeroplane, used a toaster or an ATM or a flushing toilet, or if you've ever had a crime solved using fingerprint technology, then you have actually engaged with Scottish culture and Scottish history. So all of those things I mentioned there, and many, many more things, were actually invented in Scotland, or invented by Scottish people, or were heavily involved. Scottish people were heavily involved with the creation. So Scotland has actually contributed a lot to the world. And I always say, no matter where you are on the planet, you are never that far away from Scotland's footprint on the world. So when you come to Scotland, there are a range of different universities that you can come to. In actual fact, Scotland has more world-class universities per person, per head, than any other country in the whole world. 5 of Scotland's universities are ranked in the Times Higher Education Top 300. And the proportion of Scottish graduates going on to work and further study is actually higher than all of the other parts of the UK. So it's higher than England, it's higher than Wales, and it's higher than Northern Ireland. 73% of Scottish graduates go into graduate level jobs. So that is professional level jobs or management level jobs than the rest of the UK as well. So 68% of our graduates, 73% of our graduates go into graduate level jobs compared to 68% around the UK. And more of them are in positive destinations of work or further study than the UK average. But we've actually started seeing a massive increase in the number of international students coming to Scotland. And last year, we had a 12.1% increase in the number of international students coming to Scotland. So, lots and lots of international students are seeing us as a fantastic place to study. You've also got the logos there on the bottom for all of the universities in Scotland. So you've got University of Stirling, which is what I represent, but also places like St Andrews, University of Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Dundee, Strathclyde, all of which have really, really good world rankings. So there are 2 distinct sides to Scotland. The first is the kind of rolling countryside that led to Scotland being voted as Rough Guide's most beautiful country in the world in 2019. Travel Now magazine also put Scotland's North Coast 500 road trip in their top coastal road trips anywhere in the world. And you can see some of the beautiful countryside that we have there as well. But there is a different side to Scotland as well. Scotland has vibrant, busy cities which will rival any city experience you will find in Europe. So I thought before we talk about the university, let's talk about the lifestyle that you can have in Stirling and in Scotland. So obviously, if you come to Stirling, the first city that you will engage with is Stirling. It's a very small city. It's a population of approximately 100,000 people. And it's perhaps a place for people that want a slightly slower pace of life. It's a great place to come and get to grips with the English language and British culture, because in Stirling, you have time to think about your use of the language. It's very, very low pressure kind of lifestyle. When it comes to the welcome that people receive, Booking.com's Traveller Reviewer Awards put Stirling in the top 10 friendliest cities anywhere in the UK. And it has everything that you would need within around 1 hour, around sort of a small area. So there's no need for a car. Everything is within walking distance. So I live in the city centre, not too far away from this street here. And I walk to the campus every single day to get to work. I walk home again. And on the days that it's raining, there's a bus that can take me into the campus within 10 minutes as well. So everything is close by. Stirling is home to what I would call a very, very good coffee culture. There's this one here, which is the Burr Coffee House, which is very close to my apartment. There's the Ugly Mug. There's also a new bookshop and cafe that's opened just around the corner from my apartment as well. So Stirling is really home to lots and lots of fantastic coffee places where you can go, take your laptop, take your book, and really relax and manage to do your work outside of your accommodation. It has a small shopping mall as well, with around 80 shops. So you will find there all of the shops that you would find on your average UK main city. And Stirling's biggest business is tourism. So around 500,000 tourists per year come to Stirling to visit places like the Wallace Monument that you can see in the background, and Stirling Bridge, which you can see in this photograph here as well. which is home to a famous film you might have seen or might have heard of, which is Mel Gibson's Braveheart, which is actually set in Stirling. We also have places like Stirling Castle, which again, very, very popular with tourists. It's actually one of the most popular tourist attractions in the whole of Scotland. And recently, the world's oldest soccer ball was discovered in Stirling Castle behind one of the wooden panels. And that is now on display at Stirling Smithfield Gallery. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you like soccer, if you like football, you know, Stirling is steeped in history when it comes to the beautiful game. The Stirling University has an absolutely stunning campus. You can see here a beautiful backdrop. And it was actually ranked as the 5th best campus in the world, according to the UK International Student Barometer in 2018. So it's a fantastic, peaceful place to come and do your studies. And it's also very safe as well. So it was rated as the safest city in the 2020 Complete University Guide. So that's something that we're very, very proud of. Not very much crime in Stirling. And one of the biggest assets of Stirling is its location. So you are 27 minutes away from Glasgow and 37 minutes away from Edinburgh, living in Stirling. So even though Stirling might be quite a quiet city to live in, you actually have access to 2 of the UK's best cities within easy reach. And I'll give you an example. My parents live in Zone 6 of London. It actually takes me longer to get from my parents' place in Zone 6 to central London than it does to take to get from Stirling to Glasgow or Edinburgh on the train. So very, very easy to move around the central belt of Scotland and have the brilliant lifestyle that we're about to talk about. Glasgow and Edinburgh are also approximately 1 hour away from London by aeroplane. So if you don't mind flying, you can get very cheap flights from Glasgow and Edinburgh airports down to London. So if you have friends and family like I do, you can visit them very, very easily. So the next city that I want to talk about is Glasgow. A lot of people who come to Stirling University spend a lot of time in Glasgow, and it's actually very common for people to live in Stirling and work in Edinburgh and Glasgow. So I thought I would introduce you to these 2 cities because chances are you'll spend quite a lot of time in these places. So Glasgow is the UK's 5th biggest area by population. It's home to 600,000 people. It's home to the UK's 2nd busiest shopping street, which is Glasgow Buchanan Street, which is just right outside the train station. So when you live in Stirling, you're actually 27 minutes away from the 2nd busiest shopping street in the whole of the UK. And it's home to every single designer brand that you can think of. It's also worth just highlighting very, very quickly, these photographs were all taken before coronavirus. So don't worry, this isn't what the scene is in Glasgow at the moment. This is from last year, just in case anybody's worried. Glasgow is also home to 2,000 restaurants and bars. So no matter what you're looking for in Glasgow, whether it's Korean barbecue, Syrian places, Lebanese, Taiwanese, Mexican, Chinese or South Asian food, you will find it somewhere in Glasgow. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do, to go out to Glasgow for an evening to go and have some different food that perhaps I don't cook at home myself. And then you've also got Merchant Square in Glasgow, which is home to a range of really nice cocktail bars. You've got Latin American dancing that you can see in the top right-hand corner there. And lots of different craft markets take place there as well. So it really is a fantastic place to go and socialize. One thing I really like about Glasgow is that they have a lot of different leisure activities. So for instance, they've got a few indoor golf courses that you can see on the left. So it's like mini golf. You can also take part in things like axe throwing, which is something that I've done in Glasgow as well. It's a lot of fun, and you spend an evening throwing axes at targets and trying to get as close as you can to the target, which is a great way to spend an evening and relieve some stress. Glasgow is also home to the UK's 2nd biggest music economy. So there's a whole range of different places that you can go and listen to live music, such as the Hydro, which is the big venue you can see on the left, all the way through to small intimate venues that you can see on the right-hand side there, such as the Barrowlands. Glasgow is also home to the biggest civics arts collection in Europe as well. So if anybody likes their art and their museums, then you can go to Glasgow and you can go visit the biggest civics arts collection. We also have the Kelvin Grove Museum, which on TripAdvisor is in the top 3 museums in all of the UK. So that is right on your doorstep. So that's Glasgow in a nutshell. It's one of the world's top 10 friendliest cities, according to Big 7 Travel. It's in Time Out magazine's top 10 cities in the world to go and visit. And if anybody's worried about the Scottish accent as well, Glasgow is actually home. They did a survey recently on accents in the UK, and the Glasgow accent was voted the 3rd most attractive accent anywhere in the UK as well. So very, very nice accent for people who are worried about that. To get there from Stirling, very, very easy. 27 minutes on the train from Stirling, and there are 58 trains per day that go from Glasgow to Stirling. The next city I wanted to mention was Edinburgh. So Edinburgh is Scotland's capital city with a population of 500,000 people. Edinburgh brings in nearly 4 million visitors per year, and it's the UK's 2nd biggest tourist city after London. So it's a fantastic city. It attracts lots and lots of visitors. In any other year, I would be kind of recovering from this, but it's the Edinburgh Fringe. Edinburgh is home to the biggest performing arts festival anywhere in the world. It has 55,000 different performances by 3,500 different artists. It's a really unique festival. You won't find anything like this anywhere in the world. And living in Stirling, you can go and visit this festival every single day. It's actually ranked by Time Out magazine as the #1 thing to do when you are in the UK. Normally when you go to the Fringe Festival in August, hotels are absolutely impossible to find because everybody is going to Edinburgh. Everybody's booking up their hotels years in advance. But by living in Stirling, you can go and visit this festival every single day if you want to. So that's, for me, that's one of the big advantages of living in Stirling. Edinburgh is also home to the world's largest literature festival as well. And Edinburgh is also UNESCO's first city of literature anywhere in the world. Very much like Glasgow, we have a lot of art galleries and a lot of history in Edinburgh. So there's lots of free museums that you can walk around, lots of free exhibitions. There's the Botanic Gardens that you can see on the right-hand side there, with benches where you can sort of have a really nice view of the whole city. And then there's the Scottish Parliament on the top right-hand side there as well, which is where all of Scotland's politicians sit and debate and where all of the laws in Scotland are made. And again, for those people who like food, Edinburgh is home to the most restaurants per head of any city in the UK. And it has the 2nd most Michelin stars of any restaurant in the UK as well. So not only is there a lot of food in Edinburgh, but there is also some top quality food there as well. Quality of life in Edinburgh is absolutely fantastic. So Deutsche Bank voted it as their 2nd best city in the world for quality of life in 2017. And comparethemarket.com, which is one of our big financial websites here in the UK, ranked it as the best city for the millennial generation to live only this year. So being close to Stirling means that you're close to Edinburgh. We're 37 minutes away on the train from Edinburgh, and there are 40 trains per day from Edinburgh to Stirling. And just like Glasgow, we are a 1-hour flight from London. So just to recap, Stirling, based in the centre of Scotland, a population of 100,000 people, but is very close to Glasgow and Edinburgh for those people that maybe want a bigger city experience. So I always say to people, when you come to Stirling, you get 3 cities for the price of 1. And for those people who are maybe looking at taking advantage of the post-study work visa, this slide is just to illustrate the number of tier 2 sponsors we have in the central belt of Scotland in comparison to other parts of the UK. So taking into account Edinburgh, Glasgow and Stirling, as you can see on the chart there, the central belt of Scotland actually has one of the biggest employment markets for international people of anywhere in the UK. So as I say, this isn't a guarantee of a job. This is not a guarantee of a visa or a sponsorship, but we do have a jobs market which is open to the international community. So we've shown you what Scotland has to offer. Let's talk a little bit now about Stirling and the Into Centre. So at the Into Centre, we run foundation courses and graduate diploma courses. Now we do two different types. One of these courses can get you to University of Stirling, and it can get you onto a range of different degrees from science, computer science, film, media, journalism, social sciences. And you can do this with a single visa. So you come in and you study your foundation, followed by your bachelor's degree or your master's degree. The other one that we have is a choice diploma or a choice foundation. This means that you can come into University of Stirling, you can study a foundation course or a graduate diploma, and then during that year, you can visit all of the different cities in Scotland, visit all the different universities in Scotland, and then you can decide where you want to go, and you have access to all of the universities that you can see there on the right-hand side of your screen, such as University of Edinburgh, Strathclyde, Dundee, Aberdeen, some fantastic universities there. So just a little bit about some of Scotland's universities, places that we can get you access to from Into University of Stirling. We have links with University of Edinburgh, which is a top 20 university in the world. It's the 6th best university in Europe, according to the US News' best global universities ranking. And it's the 48th most employable university anywhere in the world. And it's also a member of the prestigious Russell Group as well. So a very well-ranked university. We also have links into bachelor's courses at University of Aberdeen, which is 168th in the world and 207th in the QS World Rankings as well. It's also 26th in the Complete University Guide. So again, another fantastic university that you can go to from the Into University of Stirling Centre. Aberdeen is Europe's capital of oil and gas. So any students that are maybe thinking about getting involved in the oil and gas sector, Aberdeen is the place to go and study. We also have Heriot-Watt University based in Edinburgh, which is 29th in the UK in the Complete University Guide, and it's kind of in the top 300, well, it's 301 in the QS World Rankings. So again, we have links to that university. We have links to Strathclyde, again, another fantastically ranked university, 300th in the QS World Rankings, and 39th in the UK. We also have access to Dundee, which is in the 31st in the UK, and it's 319th in the world. We also have Abertay and Queen Margaret universities that are slightly more vocational universities. So Abertay University is one of the top universities in Europe for computer games design. It says on there it's won the award for top university for computer games design for 2015 to 2019. That's actually 2015 to 2020 now, because they've won it for the 5th year in a row. And when you come to Into University of Stirling, you know, whilst we have these links with all of these different partners within Scotland, we actually do have a wide range of other universities that our students progress to. So using that choice diploma, you can go to a range of different UK universities. University of Stirling itself is very, very well ranked. In the recent Guardian league table, we were 28th in the UK out of 130 universities. So we've got a very, very competitive ranking. In the subject rankings, we rank very strongly as well. We rank in the top 10 in the UK for economics, criminology, education, marketing, top 15 in the UK for media and film, journalism and social policy, and in the top 20 in the UK for social work, sociology, accounting and finance, geography and environmental science, sports science, and also politics, and we're 24th in the UK for psychology as well. So we've got some fantastic rankings in all of these prestigious league tables for our respective subjects. So yeah, we outside of the league tables, we also do very, very well as well. So this is our TV, film, media, journalism courses. We've won 3 consecutive Royal Television Society Awards here in Scotland. And in 2019, all of the films on the shortlist for the Factual TV Award were University of Stirling courses. So if you come to University of Stirling to study film, media, journalism, not only are you getting a well-ranked course, you're getting an award-winning course as well. Very, very well recognised around the UK. Our aquaculture school was the winner of the Queen's Anniversary Prize last year, and that is the highest national honour awarded within UK higher education. The MSc Sports Management that we've got is in the top 10 courses of its kind in Europe and the top 25 in the world, according to the Sports Business Postgraduate Rankings 2019. When you come to Stirling, we are very much focused on jobs. So we have looked at things like the QS Global Employer Survey, which came out in 2018. And in this survey, employers, about 16,000 employers took part in this survey. They highlighted all of the skills that they want from graduates. And they also highlighted where they see a skills gap as well. You can see in this chart here, problem solving is the skill that employers see as one of the most important skills in a new graduate. But you can also see there that they have a gap in that. So they're not very happy with the number of graduates that have this particular skill. So what we've done at University of Stirling is we've looked at this and we've started to try and fill some of these skills gaps. So we've embedded into our courses tasks and modules that will get you problem solving skills. So we get you solving problems in different ways from day one. Communication is another one that employers say graduates are lacking. So we get you doing projects where you have to communicate, such as presentation skills, vlog and posters where you have to communicate through visual means. So you pick up all of these different skills. Team working is another one that employers value. So we get you doing things like video projects where you have to work as part of a team to shoot a video. So the idea behind this is that when you go to that job interview, when you graduate, and the employer is saying to you, what skills can you bring to this role? You can look at these skills that they're lacking and you can bring first-hand examples to that interview, and that enhances your opportunities of getting that particular job. We also look at growth markets for jobs as well. So in the world of computer technology, we look at drones because drones are becoming a huge part of the economy. According to a study by PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, drones could add £42 billion to the UK economy by the year 2030. And potentially there are going to be 628,000 jobs in the drones economy by 2030. So this is a huge, huge growth area. And we've looked at this. And so we have put modules and projects around drones in our BSc computer science programs to make sure that our graduates are ready to take advantage of this growing jobs market. Likewise with smartphones, again, going back to computer science, there are 2.7 billion smartphone users in the world and 1.3 billion tablet users in the world as well. Apple, just one employer in Europe, employs 1.5 million people in app development. So again, we have put modules in apps in all of our computer science programs to make sure that our graduates can take advantage of this growing jobs market. Same with cybersecurity. The UK government commissioned a report and found that 48% of businesses have a cyber skills gap. Therefore, we put cybersecurity and cyber skills in all of our computing programs, again, to make sure that our graduates can fill those knowledge gaps. Change management is something that, again, lots and lots of employers have said that they want to focus on. Deloitte said that 80% of businesses rate leadership as a top priority, but only 41% of organizations say that their managers are ready for modern day requirements. So we put change management, we put leadership at the heart of all of our business courses, again, to make sure that you've got first-hand experiences and examples to talk about when you go for those crucial job interviews. Likewise as well, entrepreneurship is going to be bigger than ever before with everything that's happening with COVID, with the ways that businesses are now having to do things online and do things in ways that they've never, ever done before. Entrepreneurship is going to be a big skill that employers are going to be looking for. So we put entrepreneurship at the heart of everything that we do in our business degrees as well. So again, when you go for that job interview, you can talk about how you've learned about entrepreneurship and how you've put that into practice. And same thing with Netflix and within the world of film as well. People's viewing habits when it comes to media are changing. So 22% of adults now use at least 4 streaming services for entertainment purposes. People are no longer watching television like they used to. Everything is now watched on smartphones, laptops, and things like that. So when we have our film and media courses, we also put modules in there about understanding audiences so that you know who you are marketing your television programs to. So that's just some examples there of how we've put modern day requirements of employers into our courses to try and help our students get jobs and fill those crucial skills gaps. We also have a range of different activities within our foundation course. These are to kind of pick up some skills. So this is an example of a class where we have a volleyball activity. What happens here is you have to, with your colleagues, keep the ball in the air for as long as possible while shouting out the name of capital cities. Now, this might sound like a bit of a silly activity, but what it does is it gets you working as a team. It gets you solving problems, because what happens at the start is the ball's going everywhere. The ball keeps going on the floor, and it doesn't stay in the air for very long. As you start to work together as a team, start to look at the mistakes you guys have made and how to stop making them in the future, the ball stays in the air for much longer. And it's just a kind of very easy example of how working together can really help build a team ethos. For our biology, sometimes we get animals in the classroom. So this is one of our teachers keeps birds. So she brought one of her birds into class so that they could study and look at its behavior. And we also have a module where we build Lego models. So the thinking behind this is that sometimes in the workplace, you have to come up with solutions and think about communicating in ways that are slightly different. So what we do here is we set the students a question, and they have to answer that question by building a Lego model. They then have to explain to the class what that model means. So why have they built it in this shape? Why have they used different colors? All these sorts of things. And what this does is it really makes you think about how you communicate with people when you can't use traditional methods. It also gives you experience and exposure to problem solving, and also working with limited resources as well. And again, these are all skills that employers are looking for. So when you come to that crucial job interview, you have examples to talk about. Now, all of these things might seem a bit, crazy. They might seem a bit, that there's a lot of things going on. In actual fact, this has paid dividends for a lot of our graduates. You can see here some of the places that our graduates have gone to. So our marketing students have gone to places like the Royal Bank of Scotland, Nestle, Arsenal Football Club, Hewlett-Packard, Adidas, big world brands. And likewise with computer science, a lot of our students have gone to places like Google, Microsoft, IBM, Reuters, HSBC Bank as well. So they've gone to some fantastic destinations. In actual fact, the employment ratio of our courses is much higher than average. So more of our graduates get jobs than the average university. So this is our beautiful campus here. This is our lovely campus. This is what you can expect to see when you come to Stirling. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen here, the accommodation. And then on the right-hand side of the screen is where all of the classrooms are. You can see on the bottom right-hand of the screen, you can see the sports facilities. We've invested, or we will be investing £21 million in a brand new sports centre. And in the top, you can see our castle and our golf course. So everything here is within a 5 or 10 minute walk. You have everything you need on campus. You've got your supermarket on campus. You've got a doctor's and a GP surgery. You've got the sports facilities. We have a cinema, a theatre, nightclubs, pubs, bars, cafes, restaurants as well. So it's actually quite possible that you don't have to leave campus for a whole week if you don't want to. Stirling City Centre is 10 minutes away by bus, or it's about a 30-minute walk if you like walking and the weather's nice. This is the new sports centre that we are investing our money in. So £21 million is going into this new sports centre to make it one of the single best sports facilities anywhere in the UK. And into students get free access to this during their first year at Stirling. We've got a 50-metre swimming pool, which is also open to the public, but again, it's free access for into students when they come to our centre. And Stirling has been named in 2020 Sports University of the Year by the Times and Sunday Times. So if you like your sport, we are the best university in the UK for that this year. Just having a look at some of the teams that we have and some of the sporting achievements we have as well. The women's football team, well, the season's just finished and unfortunately they were relegated, but they were playing in the Scottish Women's Premier League, which is the highest league in Scotland for women's soccer. So they'll be playing in the second tier of that next year. The men's team currently play in the 5th division of Scottish football as well. So they play one league below the professionals in Scotland. We've also had quite a number of graduates who have come through our courses. So Jane Ross currently plays for Manchester United and Scotland. And she played at the FIFA Women's World Cup last year. She's got 132 caps for Scotland and scored 60 goals. But she studied an MPhil at Stirling and played for the Stirling team as well. We've also got Frankie Brown, who's one of our Scottish international footballers, again, played at the Women's World Cup last year. We've got tennis success as well. So we've got Johnny O'Mara and Colin Fleming. So both have played at Wimbledon and in the US Open. Colin also represented Team GB in the Davis Cup and won gold at the Commonwealth Games in mixed doubles as well. So some fantastic achievements there. And we've also got success in the Olympics as well. So Duncan Scott, who is a BA Sports Studies student, and Charlotte Henshaw, who's an MSc Psychology student, both won medals at the Rio 2016 Olympics. Also, Noeline Tuora, who was an MSc Performance Coaching student here at Stirling. She was the coach of last year's Netball World Cup winning team in New Zealand. So some fantastic achievements there, and it's great to see some of the things that our students are learning being put into practice on the world stage, the highest possible stage you can have as well. When it comes to soccer, we're also involved in a lot of research as well. So Alan Shearer, who is the English Premier League's top scorer of all time, is doing research with our academics on the impact that heading footballs has on the brain. This is actually being put into practice around Scotland and around some parts of Europe and the USA and other parts of the world as well. In Scotland, it is now against the rules for children under 12 years old to head footballs in games. And this is so that they don't get brain damage when their brains are growing and when they're kind of in those crucial years growing up. So the research that our academics are doing is having a big impact on one of the world's most popular sports. We also have a collaboration with Edinburgh University, looking at the benefits of the Daily Mile. So there is a thing in the UK called the Daily Mile, where we challenge school children to run or walk a mile every single day to help them maintain their fitness. We've also taken part in the largest ever public exhibition at the British Library as well. So that was a University of Stirling contributed project. And then some of our other alumni have gone on to do some fantastic things as well. Shelley Kerr, who's an MSc Sports Management student with us, is the current coach of the Scotland national women's team, and she took the Scotland team to the European Championships and the World Cup in the last 4 years. We've got Dr. Rawan, who works over in Oman at the moment. She is one of the only women in a top company. Sorry, apologies. There we go. She is one of the only women in Oman to make the top 100 most powerful Arab business women in 2017. She's the only woman to hold a CEO position in a public listed company in Oman as well. So we've got some fantastic alumni that we can draw upon as well. So as you saw on the map, the accommodation is very, very close to the lecture theatres and to all the sports facilities as well. You can see here the accommodation. It's new, it's modern, it's very clean, it's very well fitted, and it's such a convenient location as well. And when you kind of look out of your window and see that view every morning, it really, really is fantastic. The accommodation is, as I say, 10-minute walk from the Into Centre, a 10-minute walk from the campus as well. The next slide is a very quick video, which hopefully will work. Just a moment, because my laptop has decided to stop working. Okay, well, the video I was going to play is actually, it's just a tour of the Into Centre, which I'll not show for the moment, just because it's not working for some reason. There we go. Unfortunately, the presentation stopped working at the moment, but I was pretty much at the end anyway. What it would have been would just be a bit of a recap on kind of what we've already covered. So just covering the convenience of Stirling is the fact that it's in central Scotland. It's very kind of easy to get to and from. There we go. It's very easy to get to and from Stirling to places like Edinburgh and Glasgow, two of the kind of best cities anywhere in the UK. Stirling itself has fantastic rankings for subjects, and it also has fantastic rankings overall, but in particular for sport. That's one of the things that we are most recognised for in the UK. One of the other things that we're very well ranked for in the UK is student satisfaction. We're actually in the top 20 now for student satisfaction in the UK, which means that the students in Stirling are amongst some of the happiest anywhere in the UK. So University of Stirling really is a fantastic place to come and study, and I'd very, very much recommend it to anyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly move this over here, and if anybody's got any particular questions, I'm more than happy to take those now. So I can see one already from Renzo. Is there fashion design? We don't actually have fashion design at University of Stirling, but there are a few fashion design courses around Scotland. I would recommend Glasgow School of Art. They are one of the highest ranked art schools in the UK, and they will do fashion design. Also, Glasgow Caledonian University as well have some fantastic opportunities in fashion design. They have a campus in London that has a master's in fashion design. They also have courses in New York, some of which are business related, but I'm pretty sure there's some fashion links there as well. So I'd recommend either Glasgow School of Art or Glasgow Caledonian University for fashion design. Karen's just sent us a quick message about scholarships, and yes, we do have scholarships. So as it stands at the moment, we have a progression scholarship from Into to the university, and that is worth currently it's around £12,000, I believe it is. So what that is you get around £4,000 when you come into the University of Stirling. You then get up to a £4,000 scholarship when you leave University of Stirling and you move from your foundation course to year 2, and then from year 2 to year 3 and year 3 to year 4 there's a further £2,000 available. So that nearly adds up to the equivalent of 1 year's worth of tuition fees spread out over 4 years. So we do have that available, and that is exclusively for students from South America, as well as a few other selected regions, such as Africa and a few other kind of Asian regions as well. But that's the scholarship offering that we have. It's a progression scholarship, which is worth up to £12,000.
Perfect. Craig, I have a question. They were answering about environmental engineering, production, and quality control.
Yeah, okay. So we don't actually have the environmental engineering with Stirling. We do things like environmental science. We do things such as environmental management, which is looking more at the politics of environment and climate change and things like that. So it's kind of looking at politics, it's looking at some of the biological aspects of it, it's looking as well at some of the business aspects of it and how to advise and guide businesses to become more environmentally friendly and why it's a good thing for them to do so. It also looks at things like cross-country cooperation when it comes to environmental science as well, because there's no point in one country being very green and very environmentally friendly, and then the neighboring country not doing anything and completely damaging the environment. So it's looking at things like that as well. If you're looking for environmental engineering, I would highly recommend somewhere like University of Aberdeen. One of the reasons is that they're very good on engineering, but when it comes to things like environment, because it's very much an oil and gas city, they're looking at oil and gas, obviously, which is not very environmentally friendly, but they are also now looking at things like renewable energies. They're looking at environmental engineering as well, because they all know that oil and gas is probably coming towards the end of its time on this planet. So they're looking at a few different things there. So I would recommend looking at somewhere like Aberdeen or Edinburgh, Strathclyde or Heriot-Watt. All of those very, very good engineering universities based in Scotland. There's another question there from Cara about aviation management. So we don't do aviation management at Stirling. There's not many UK universities that do aviation management because a lot of that kind of thing is left to particularly flight schools and airlines to kind of coach their particular staff. I believe there are a couple. Bedfordshire is one that I believe does aviation management. I'll have to double check that. And I think University of South Wales, if I remember rightly, did aviation management as well. So that's down in Cardiff. Again, if you look on the UCAS website and if you look at a few other websites, and again, if you kind of talk to Hugo and his company and Global Studies, they've obviously got a very extensive knowledge of UK universities, and they'll be able to give you the right advice and guidance on where to study aviation management in the UK. So I'd recommend using the WhatsApp and the email that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. And I'm sure Hugo and his team will be able to give you lots of advice and guidance on that. So I can see there, IBO, is that International Baccalaureate students have any benefits? Okay, so International Baccalaureate students have a few benefits in the sense that in Scotland, it's a 4-year degree, very much like it is in the US. Now, if students have studied a kind of local qualification, normally they have to go in at year 1 of their bachelor degree, so it'd be a 4-year study plan. But if you've done an international baccalaureate and you have a high enough score, then you can go into year 2 of the 4-year degree. So you bypass year 1, you don't go to year 1, you go straight into year 2, and it's a 3-year study plan. So that is one of the big benefits of being an international baccalaureate student coming to the UK. It becomes a 3-year study plan, not a 4-year study plan.
Great.
So,
January, for example, for January intake, what exams will be accepted to get admission?
Yeah. So for January intake, it would be looking at exams would be required to get admissions. So there, again, that would be looking at your local high school qualification. That would be looking at things like the International Baccalaureate. When you're looking at IELTS, there are quite a few universities now accepting alternative scores and alternative English language tests. So instead of just IELTS now, a lot of universities are taking things like Duolingo. If you've got a high score in an international baccalaureate English as well, that can also be accepted instead of IELTS. So if you've done international baccalaureate and you've studied English, that could mean that you're exempt from IELTS as well. Every university has their own requirements, and they have their own courses that they would accept instead of IELTS. So it's a good idea when you go onto the university webpage, have a look at their English language requirements, because many universities now are accepting different things. We at Stirling, we accept IELTS, we accept Pearson, we accept TOEFL, we accept IGCSE, we accept International Baccalaureate. We also accept some online tests such as Duolingo as well. So if you go onto the webpage, have a look at the English language requirements, there will be a full list of all of the English tests that we accept at the universities. Every university will have a slightly different one, so it's worth just checking every university that you're thinking of going to. There's tuition fee costs as well. So tuition costs per year for international students. So in the UK at the moment, every university will have their own tuition fee costs. Some will be slightly higher than others, and sometimes it will depend on what it is you want to study. At Stirling, for our undergraduate degrees, we are currently priced at around £13,100 per year. Then when you start adding scholarships to that, the fees start to go down. But at the moment, it's £13,100 per year. For some other courses, so you're looking at the Russell Group universities, so you're Edinburgh, Exeter, Newcastle, Manchester, places like that, it'll be a bit more expensive. For some subjects like engineering and medicine, again, it can be a lot more expensive as well. So it depends on what subject you want to study, and it depends which university you want to study at. But at Stirling, we're kind of looking at around £13,100 per year, but it could be more than that if you go somewhere else. There we go. Have we got any other questions there? No.
I think about tuition costs per year for international students, please.
Yeah, so that would be the 13,100 for the tuition fee costs. Normally in the UK, we would recommend, in terms of additional living costs, we would recommend approximately another £10,000 roughly, and that would cover your accommodation, your bills, socialising, transport, books, all those sorts of things as well. And that would be pretty standard across the rest of the UK, with the exception really of London. I'm sure many of you will be aware London can be a very, very expensive place to live. So if you're going to London, I would probably save up a little bit more money than that as well. If you want to, when you come to the UK, you can actually earn some money by working as well. So you can work for up to 20 hours per week on your study visa. And that can be working in shops, cafes, restaurants. It can also be working as a student ambassador on campus as well. We actually have quite a lot of students who do work doing things like webinars like this for people. They also do things like campus tours. They help people out on open days. Sometimes they'll go to schools and do talks on their subject area as well. So when it comes to outside of the tuition fees, we're looking at around £10,000 for living costs, but you can also work part-time alongside your studies to help you out there as well.
Perfect. Great. I think we have no more questions right now. Well, thank you.
No problem. You're welcome. If anyone does have any additional questions, please do feel free to get in touch with Hugo, and Hugo can pass any additional questions on to me. But I would very much, if you are looking to go to the UK, very much using services like Global Studies to find out as much as you can. Research is really, really key. Hugo and his team, very, very experienced. They know a lot of people at a lot of different universities. They can really help you with that decision making and that research.
Thank you, Craig. Please don't forget to write us. You can schedule your meeting. You have our WhatsApp number, our email. So don't forget to follow us on our media. We will be presenting another institutions. For example, tomorrow we have another webinar. We will be talking about studying and working in Canada with ILAC. We will be broadcasting at 13 hours in Bolivia for Bolivian time, 18 hours UK time, 12 hours for Peru, Colombia, and Ecuador, and 19 hours for Spain. And next week, on Thursday, 8th of October, we will be talking about another top university, the University of Newcastle. We will be broadcasting at 12 hours for Bolivian time, 17 hours for UK time, 11 hours for Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia, and 18 hours for Spain. So follow us, and we will be waiting for you. Thank you, Craig, for all the information and all your help today.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me, and look forward to hearing from you guys soon.
Okay, we will be waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye.
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 I do believe that education is transformational. I think it's the single thing that can really impact on somebody's life.
One of the great things about our new building is that we are very much in the heart of the University of Stirling campus. So it really helps with our students and their integration into that bigger feeling of being part of the University of Stirling from day one.
Our new Into Centre has 10 teaching classrooms and a lecture theatre that seats 108 students. It has lots of social space for the students, which is great.
The breakout spaces are fantastic, and the LRC is very inclusive. It's got a lot of areas that the students can access with a modern design. It's really, really nice. Stirling University offers a lot for students, especially when it comes to sport.
We are the centre of sporting excellence for Scotland. We have some of the best sports training facilities on campus, many of which are up to an Olympic standard. And we have one of the best furbished sports centres anywhere in Scotland.
Into students benefit from the sports facilities because they get free membership for the year that they're studying here. The centre helps students feel integrated into the whole university by holding our own Freshers' Fair for the students, where they can come down and see all the different societies and sports associations that the university has.
And it's just nice to see that interaction between our Into University of Stirling students and the mainstream campus community. And it just adds a certain level of energy and excitement. So it's a really, really great place to come and study for your first year at the University of Stirling.